Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jasmine McDonald, and if you're new here, I post ballet and fitness related videos every single Tuesday, Thursday, and now Sundays. So don't forget to subscribe if you want to stay up to date and click that little bell notification. It'll let you know when I post a new video. Today I'm going to be showing you a couple of exercises and stretches to help with your extensions for dancers. I mean, we all want higher extensions, right? So always make sure you're warm before doing any exercise at home and make sure you're aware of your surroundings. To start out, why don't we take one knee into our chest, laying down, stretching out our bottom hip and our back of our leg. Just lightly stretching, guiding your knee out towards the side, keeping your supporting leg hip down and not letting it waver out to the side that you're pulling your opposite leg to. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Now, when we do a développé, we always want to go from passé to an attitude. So why don't we just gently guide our knee towards the side and our foot closer towards us, keeping turnout. We want to keep our hip down and not let it go forward. Let's switch legs, taking the opposite knee in towards your chest. Again, keeping that bottom hip down, not raising it and not letting it waver out as you bring your knee out towards the outside of your body. It's very important here to make sure that that hip is staying down, because when we're standing on our leg, our supporting leg has to be super strong and we can't be wandering around it. That's going to lead to a lot of hip problems later. And let's take that little attitude as well to the front on the other leg. You can also do all of these same stretches on a roller. You want to be sure that the roller's underneath your sacrum, not too high in your back and not too low. This is just stretching out that hip flexor a little bit more, which is going to not only help your arabesques but also help your front extensions, because we need to have loose hamstrings, flexible hips, and a strong supporting leg in order to improve or heighten our extensions. So you can definitely just stretch your knee here as well. That'll help loosen up your hamstring a little bit. You don't want to stay too long in these stretches, just a little bit, especially since we're going to be doing some exercises for strengthening afterwards. Be sure to do both sides on either leg and still keeping that hip down. You want to make sure that your hips are square as well. You don't want to be lifting up your working leg while lowering your supporting leg that's on the ground. You can also do this off of the edge of your bed, off of a countertop, off of a bench, but just be sure that you're warm beforehand and make sure that it is comfortable behind your back. And if you're starting the stretch for the first time, keep your bottom knee bent and then work towards a straightened knee. So now that our hips are a little bit more warm, we're going to find a Pilates V hold. Feel free to put your hands behind you for some extra support as you lean back a little bit with your toes together. We're going to turn our knees out into a little butterfly position, and we're going to lift with our heel towards the front and do little circles in the air, keeping our core engaged, keeping our hips stable. We don't want to move our hips back and forth. We want to keep both sit bones on the floor equally, our weight distributed equally. So this is one variation. You can also do little pulses up and down, getting higher and higher each time. Nothing in the upper body moves. It's just on the inner thigh that lifts you and your heel. Now do it with the flexed foot to make sure that you're still turned out, and let's do the same thing on the second side. If this hurts your hips at all, place your body a little bit lower down and go on your elbows. Put a little bit more weight in your arms so there's less tension in your hip flexor. So the same thing on the second side. You can see I'm just doing little circles around, and then I'll switch to a flexed foot and pulse up, or pointed foot and pulse up as I try to lift my leg higher and higher while keeping my core engaged, keeping my neck supported while keeping my head straight. So this next one is really, really good for the standing leg as well as the working leg, to make sure that our hips are staying stable as we do fouettes. So you're going to do the same thing, lift it up, but bring it to the side without your hands on the floor if you feel ready, and bring it back in. So let's try that a couple more times. Bring it out and in. And you really try not to move your shoulders and your hips too much. The only thing that moves is the leg independently in the hip socket. So I'm just going to be doing the same thing on the second side. Just make sure you don't hit anything in the way. Make sure you have lots and lots of space. Doesn't matter how far to the side you get. This is your personal turnout strength. This is not a moment to just split your legs all open to the sides. I'm going to do the exact same exercise, but this time when I bring it out to the side, I'm going to do little circles. So you can see I'm challenging myself a little bit more here. I'm propping my body a little bit closer to my leg, so I work on getting that extension a little bit higher. So I'm doing little circles to the side to make sure that my hip socket is loose, working independently without the other leg, without my shoulders helping me, and without my hips. give yourself a hug. After doing this, make sure you stretch out your hip flexors a little bit because sometimes it can get a little bit tight. And if this does tighten you a little bit too much, feel free to take your weight a little bit more back on your elbows or all the way down on the floor. You can do this on your back, laying down as well. So the next one is going to be laying on our side, and you want to be sure that you're not letting your whole body collapse into the floor. You're staying supported in the side of your body and lifting the side of your obliques off the floor so it is not touching the floor. You can see there's a little space. You don't want to let it fall. You want to keep it supported as if you were standing on your feet. So you want to rotate, and from your rotation, start to move towards your passe. From here, you're just going to lift your knee and place your toe back to your knee, and lift your other knee, place your toe back to your knee to passe, lift your knee, passe. Last time, lift your knee. Now extend your leg, and try to lift your leg while it's flexed before you lower down. Let's do that again. So you find a passe, still lifting your body off the floor. Lift your knee, passe. Lift the knee, passe, lift the knee, passe, and last time lift the knee and try to lift the bottom of your foot first to extend your leg and then let it go down. Now you can try this without the support of your arms or your hand. That is super tricky. You'll see on the second side I fall a little bit, so just do this at your own pace. Don't rush it. Do it to your own strength and your own capability. So again, here you can see there's a bit of space underneath the side of my body, and I'm starting with the passe to lift the knee, lower down, and again, you want to keep your hips squared off here, each one pointing towards the front. You do not want to sit back on it, and you do not want to fall forward on it. So you can see here I try to balance, and I lose it a bit, so I know that I need to strengthen a little bit more. I need that little support just to help for now. So we'll try it again. Now I'm going to try this part with my hand off of the floor because the part going down is a little bit trickier for your abdominals, and doing it like this will ensure that you're super strong in your supporting leg. And we're down. Great. Now for some people that can be a little bit too tricky on your hip flexor. I would just suggest keeping the bottom knee bent on the floor for some extra support. So let's take a little stretch just to make sure that our inner thighs aren't too worked or too tight tomorrow. So just take one leg out to the side, one leg in front of you, and stretch forward, trying to keep both sit bones onto the floor equally distributed with the weight still. You do not want to lift one sit bone or lift one hip. You want to keep them very, very square here. You can see I can lift my hip like that, or I can keep it rooted to the floor and stretch forward. That's going to increase your flexibility, not the other way. Of course, make sure to do both sides, so take one leg out to the other side and make sure that both hips are down. Doesn't matter if you're not as low down, you just want to keep your hips rooted on the floor, your hips square, your seat bones equally distributed with your own weight. For the last and final exercise, we're going to be standing up. So when you're standing up, just like we were laying down, you want to make sure that both sides are equally supported. So standing on one leg in first position, you're going to find your passe here. Same thing as we did on the floor, find your passe, lift your knee, find your passe again. We're going to repeat that a couple of times. Lift your knee, find the passe. You see how my hips are hardly moving. I'm trying to keep both shoulders and both hips square. And then just give yourself a little tug and relax. Let's do the same thing on the second side. You just want to keep doing this a couple of times to increase hip mobility and the strength of your bottom leg. You don't want to pull off of your supporting leg. You still want to be towards the toe of your supporting foot, but you don't want to pull off of it with the other foot. Now, as you and me both know, to do extensions to the front, you can't just lift your knee first. You actually have to turn out a little bit more and lift your foot first. Let's find a passe. Lift your foot in front of you into an attitude. And let's do little pulses here, lifting your foot. Don't think about that knee, think about the foot, and bring it to a passe. Bring it down. Let's do the same thing. Just little pulses and attitude, not moving your hips, leading with your foot, your foot, your foot like it's on a string, lifting up towards the sky. So play around with these hip isolating exercises and these psoas strengthening exercises. We need to strengthen our iliopsoas to improve our mobility and our strength for extensions. So always make sure you stretch after. I always do this pigeon stretch with my back leg turned in to further stretch my hip flexor. And of course, we have to do the second side. Now, it's totally normal to have one imbalance. You can be more flexible or more strong on one leg or the other leg. Just make sure that you stretch both sides and take a little bit of extra time on the leg that's less flexible. Be sure to stretch your hamstrings as well in this little triangle pose with one foot in front, one foot behind. Try to square off your hips. Doesn't matter if you're not that close to your leg. It's better to square off your hips and get a deeper stretch in your hamstring there. Do both sides as well. And also stretch forward for the back of your legs and your hamstring, hugging your legs, bending your knees, doing whatever you need to do to cool down. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you enjoy these quick tips. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and bye now.